Your heart stops. Everything changes. Blood no longer reaches your brain. Time should end here. But it doesn't. For one final minute, something astonishing begins instead. Scientists now believe your mind may stay active longer than anyone once imagined. What are you truly experiencing during those last 60 seconds? And could your final thoughts shape the way your story ends? Before we uncover what happens next, tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to know. Now the countdown begins. Second 0 arrives. Nothing feels normal anymore. Yet your journey isn't over. It's only just beginning. Second 0 arrives. Your heart no longer pushes blood through your body. Every organ immediately notices the silence. But your brain doesn't shut down the instant your pulse disappears. Instead, it keeps working with the oxygen and energy already stored inside its cells. For a brief moment, everything continues almost as if nothing has changed. You probably expect darkness. But that's not what science suggests. Around 1 second later, your blood pressure collapses. Fresh oxygen no longer reaches your brain. Every heartbeat once carried a constant supply of fuel. Now that supply is gone. Your brain understands something is terribly wrong, yet billions of neurons are still communicating, sending electrical signals across an intricate network built over your entire lifetime. This is the beginning of an invisible countdown. At first, you may still hear sounds around you. Voices. Footsteps. A distant alarm. Researchers have documented cases where people revived after cardiac arrest later described conversations that happened while they appeared completely unconscious. Scientists continue studying these reports because they challenge what many once believed about awareness. But hearing isn't the only mystery. Around 5 seconds pass. Your vision starts changing. Without enough blood reaching the eyes and visual cortex, the world begins to fade. Colors lose their strength. Edges soften. Darkness slowly moves inward. It doesn't happen like someone flipping a switch. It's more like watching the last light disappear after sunset. Yet your brain refuses to give up. Instead, it starts conserving energy. Less important systems become quieter while essential survival networks keep trying to function. Evolution has shaped your brain to fight for every possible second. Even now, it searches for a way back. Then something unexpected begins. Electrical activity doesn't vanish immediately. In several animal studies, scientists observed bursts of highly organized brain activity shortly after the heart stopped. Surprisingly, some patterns looked even more synchronized than normal waking consciousness. Researchers still debate exactly what these signals mean, but they suggest the dying brain remains active longer than expected. That discovery changed everything. Because if organized activity continues, one question naturally follows. What is your mind actually experiencing? Nobody can answer with complete certainty. Some survivors describe overwhelming peace. Others remember confusion. Many report nothing at all. Every experience appears deeply personal, influenced by biology, circumstance, and perhaps factors science still doesn't fully understand. Now 10 seconds have passed. The oxygen inside your brain is running dangerously low. Neurons struggle to maintain their delicate balance. Communication begins breaking apart. Memories, emotions, and awareness may start blending together in ways impossible during ordinary life. Familiar faces. Childhood moments. Powerful emotions. They may appear without warning. Or they may not. That's what makes this final minute so mysterious. Scientists can measure electrical signals. They can observe chemical changes. They can record heart rhythms. But none of those instruments can directly reveal what it feels like to be inside a conscious mind standing at the edge between life and death. And the most dramatic changes haven't even begun. Because around 20 seconds after your heart stops, your brain enters territory that few living people have ever described. Around 20 seconds have passed. Your brain is running out of oxygen. Every second becomes more difficult than the last. Yet this isn't always the quiet ending you might imagine. In fact, some researchers believe your brain may briefly become even more active as it struggles to survive. It's a final attempt to restore order before its systems begin shutting down. But why would that happen? Your brain is designed to protect you. Every moment of your life, it predicts danger, solves problems, and keeps you alive without asking permission. Now it faces the greatest challenge it has ever known. Instead of surrendering immediately, it launches emergency responses that may briefly increase coordinated electrical activity. This is where many mysteries begin. Some people who survive cardiac arrest later describe seeing brilliant light. Others remember floating above their bodies. A few recall meeting familiar faces or visiting places that felt more real than ordinary life. These stories have been reported across different cultures and generations. Yet science remains careful. Researchers don't claim these experiences prove what happens after death. Instead, many believe they may result from a brain under extreme stress. As oxygen falls and brain chemistry rapidly changes, normal perception can become completely altered. Time may stretch. Space may feel different. Reality itself may seem unfamiliar. But here's the fascinating part. Even if these experiences are created entirely by the brain, they reveal just how extraordinary your mind truly is. In its most fragile moments, it can produce vivid memories, powerful emotions, and detailed experiences unlike anything encountered during everyday life. Now imagine this. Your entire life exists as billions of connected memories stored across countless neurons. Every face you've loved. Every mistake you've made. Every place you've visited. Every laugh. Every fear. Every victory. Every regret. Together, they form the person you call you. What happens to all of that? Some scientists suggest that as brain networks lose stability, memories may activate in unusual patterns. Instead of recalling one event at a time, multiple experiences could briefly overlap. This idea may help explain why some survivors describe their lives flashing before their eyes. But no one knows exactly how often this happens. Modern brain scanners cannot observe a conscious person during these final moments in enough detail to answer every question. Much of what researchers understand comes from cardiac arrest survivors, laboratory studies, and careful analysis of brain activity. Each discovery answers one mystery while creating another. If you're enjoying exploring questions like this, consider subscribing. Every week, we uncover the science behind life's greatest mysteries, one story at a time. Now nearly 40 seconds have passed. Your brain's energy reserves are almost gone. Electrical signals become weaker. Communication between different regions begins collapsing. The systems that create awareness can no longer work together the way they once did. You might expect this to be the end. But one final question remains. If consciousness depends on billions of neurons working together, what happens during the exact moment that network finally falls silent? Is awareness simply switched off? Or does something far more complex occur during those final seconds? The answer lies at the very edge of modern science. And those last 20 seconds may be the most mysterious of all. The final 20 seconds begin. Your brain is reaching its limit. Oxygen is almost completely gone. The chemical balance that kept billions of neurons communicating is falling apart. One by one, those tiny electrical conversations begin to fade. But they don't all disappear together. Different regions shut down at different times, creating a slow cascade rather than a single ending. This is the point where certainty ends. Scientists can measure heart rhythms. They can record brain waves. They can observe chemical changes inside living tissue. But no instrument can tell us exactly what a conscious mind experiences as those last connections disappear. The deepest part of this journey remains hidden behind a door that no living observer can fully describe. Yet one discovery surprised researchers. In recent years, scientists have recorded unusual bursts of organized brain activity in some dying brains. Instead of immediate silence, brief waves of synchronized electrical signals appeared just before activity finally faded. Researchers are still investigating what these patterns represent. They may simply reflect the brain's final biological processes. Or they may reveal that consciousness fades more gradually than anyone once believed. That possibility changes the question. Instead of asking when life ends, we begin asking when awareness truly disappears. Those are not necessarily the same moment. Your heart may stop first. Your cells continue working for a short time afterward. Your brain may remain active even longer. Death, it seems, is less like flipping a switch and more like watching the lights of a city slowly go dark. Now almost a full minute has passed. Most brain cells can no longer function without oxygen. Electrical activity becomes increasingly disorganized until the networks responsible for memory, identity, and awareness can no longer sustain themselves. The experiences that made you laugh, dream, hope, fear, and love were carried by these living connections. As they fade, the story your brain has been writing since birth reaches its final page. But here's something remarkable. The atoms that built your body don't disappear. The energy stored inside your cells changes form. The matter that became your hands, your eyes, your heart, and your brain returns to the universe that created it billions of years ago. Physics tells us that matter is recycled endlessly. Nature wastes nothing. That doesn't answer humanity's oldest question. What happens to you? Science can explain the biology with increasing precision. It can describe the chemistry. It can measure the electricity. But whether consciousness simply ends, transforms, or continues in a way we cannot yet detect remains beyond today's evidence. That mystery belongs to philosophy, religion, personal belief, and future discovery. Perhaps that's why this subject continues to fascinate us. Because learning about death quietly teaches us something about life. Every heartbeat you experience today is part of a countdown you rarely notice. Every conversation, every sunrise, every mistake, every memory exists because your brain is still creating the story that one day will end. Right now, yours hasn't. Which means this moment is something the final minute can never give you again. One day, every heartbeat ends. Until then, every second remains a chance to notice the life unfolding around you. If this journey changed the way you think, subscribe for more stories where science meets mystery. And remember, the greatest questions are often the ones still waiting for answers.